I hope talking about stress does not stress you out. It is important to know your enemies, and stress is a major enemy to those of us who want to be content most of each day. Let us go learn about stress, in all of its forms. My first job while in high school was delivering prescriptions for Dave's drug. One winter evening, they gave me an emergency order at closing time. The address given sent me to a remote, scary part of town. I had to park and wander around to find the house, which looked like a place from a horror film. It was tucked way off by itself, surrounded by immense trees, untrimmed bushes and waist-high weeds. Stacks of stuffed garbage bags covered the entire porch that felt like it could collapse at any moment. I took a deep breath and knocked as my heart beat like a rabbit's high on meth. The door flew open and my eyes gazed in wonder at a silver gun pointed directly between them.
"What the fuck do you want?"
"I brought your prescription."
"About time. Now get the hell out of here."
He snatched the prescription and slammed the door in my face. This was my first ever experience with my stress system on full alert. I have never forgotten that feeling. Since then, I have had it happen a few other times. Like when I startled a pit bull who came after me, and the 4 times I have had a knife pulled on me. But the biggest stress system charge came when in a wreck with a semi-truck. My 3 fishing buddies and I hit some ice on a foggy dark morning and rolled through a stop sign. We hit a semi-truck and walked away unhurt, but the stress from the near-death experience lasted for weeks.
When these times come our way, the body's protection system goes into full alert, which is both remarkable and good. Our stress/protection is truly astonishing. We are programmed to stay alive, and our body has many tricks to help us do so.
If our mind and/or body senses danger to our survival, a series of things take place at a speed our primate mind simply can't comprehend. We get prepared to fight or flee. Sometimes, we freeze.
Well, kids, I do believe it is time for a quick and important science review. Today, we discuss the stress system.
Fear is a primary emotion, and when it is perceived, the entire system automatically goes into full alert stage. Imagine a normal day at the fire station. The firefighters and emergency techs are performing routine tasks like washing the vehicles, repairing hoses, doing maintenance on all the equipment, and receiving training.
Suddenly, the alarm goes off. Without a moment of hesitation, the crew storms into action. Each member of the team knows exactly what to do and races to their pre-assigned stations and begins their tasks.
The human system works roughly the same way as the suddenly busy station house when danger to survival is presented or perceived. It is all automatic and programmed. In a series of precise, cascading events, the system dives into action.
The HPA axis is the communication network between the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and adrenal glands. It is the body's primary system for recognizing and responding to stress. Whenever the brain recognizes stress, it triggers a hormone cascade to alert the rest of the body. This results in a release of adrenaline and cortisol, which tells the body to react and turns off certain signals from the brain. This system is designed to respond to stress in a balanced way.
Look at this chart for a few seconds as it explains things that happen quite well. It is an incredible system, for every single one of the 37 trillion cells in the body have receptors that are sensitive to the big 3 chemicals that are immediately released as the first step taken to protect from danger. These big 3 stress hormones are adrenaline, norepinephrine, and cortisol. These powerful substances get the body ready to either fight or flee.
The process starts with an almond-shaped tiny area of the brain called the amygdala that is the center where all fear, danger, and protective measures are perceived, evaluated, and acted upon. If it clicks into action, then it sends an urgent message to the hypothalamus, which secretes a chemical signal to the pituitary gland that orders the adrenal glands to release the three big stress hormones. I repeat. The speed that this happens is beyond comprehension to most of our primate brains.
Okay, your brain and body have perceived a threat. Doesn't matter if the threat is real or imaginary, the protective response is going to be the same. Now, there is a certain baseline level or daily rhythm of the stress hormones release that takes place normally. But there are also surges when the threat alarm goes off. We immediately release adrenaline, which gives us a surge of energy. Our eyes dilate, the heart and breathing rates increase dramatically, which pushes oxygen into the blood. Norepinephrine follows and adds to the alertness and arousal. Minutes later, cortisol shows up on the scene.
Cortisol elevates blood sugar levels so you have more energy for the defensive or flight behaviors you might engage in. This is all good and necessary in the short term.
I mention this because being aware of the stress system is extremely important, not only for dramatic events like I have described, but for the daily times when the stress system is activated at lower levels.
The stress hormones are great short-term protectors, however, in the long term, these chemicals can damage your health.
At times, the stress system gets stuck like a light switch gone goofy. It won't turn off no matter how many times you flick it. Normally, you experience fear-induced stress, and once you are out of the situation, your system returns to normal. But if the scene was dramatic, or the stress system is constantly activated, then one can get caught in staying and being stressed for long periods. That is no good, amigos. It happened to me after this pickup got redesigned by a fully loaded, speeding semi-truck who took off our front end. My stress system was impressed by this event, to say the least. It took months to return to totally normal. The fog, darkness, and scary sounds of the crash made for a deep imprint on my mind.
If the stress system, once activated, has trouble returning to normal because it gets overloaded, overused, damaged, or never was fully developed, trouble could follow. One does not want to live day after day with your bloodstream filled with these powerful hormones. Adrenaline, unmanaged, will give you high blood pressure, narrow your blood vessels, and increase the risk of heart disease.
If cortisol stays elevated long-term, it will cause ulcers in the intestines, weaken bones, put fat on your belly, suppress the immune system, and make you feel depressed. Some people get stressed and stay that way. The stress self-regulation coping mechanism does not work properly. This is one of the most common triggers for addictive behavior. The implications of being even in a minor state of stress for lengthy periods of time is a major item to understand and monitor if one wants to have superior overall health. We need to have the stress response surges to survive, but these surges must be regulated. There can be good stress, which I will get to in a moment.
We have a built-in reward, tranquilizing, incentive system that releases a wonderful, pleasant, chemical into our system. It is called dopamine. We like this one and want it to be dominant over the stress hormones.
Is there good stress? Some stress is actually beneficial for keeping the brain and body in top shape.